Welcome to the Purposed Audacity podcast, where we aim to nurture, amplify voices, and inspire our community to stand boldly in their Christian identity. Join Brian and Charmian Marie weekly as they have riveting discussions surrounding healing, restoration, and purpose. This is Purposed Audacity, powered by PAJE Magazine.
Yeah, because honestly, when you're having a heart-to-heart, when you're having a time just for, it's a us time, you want it to be a us time.
Yeah.
And sometimes what can happen is that, you know, and this is not even just for ministry alone, even though we're talking about ministry, but even like if it's work and everything, like no, we're dealing with us. So if in dealing with us, if in talking, having a heart-to-heart about how we're feeling, how are things, how do you feel, has there been anything that you want to talk to me about, or I want to talk to you about? If work and ministry does come up, that's fine, but don't make it the main thing. You know, we're trying to, you know, learn to be intimate with each other and grow together and come together and communicate better with each other so that we can learn from each other.
Right.
You know?
So just to recap so far or whatever, so our point in terms of balancing ministry with marriage and stuff is one, creating a space where we journey together through these conversations, these heart-to-hearts that focus on the whole individual versus, you know, just one you know, overarching aspect or whatever. And then also in terms of learning each other's dynamic in terms of their approach to ministry and coming to that
marriage dynamic
coming to that common ground so that there's no real contention, but rather a joint task force working to one common goal and stuff.
Time management.
Yeah, and then time management. Recognizing that you need to set boundaries and stuff so that you are not so taken up with you know, one thing and then neglecting your marriage. Not necessarily that you intend to neglect your marriage, but and so in that matter of time management and all of those points, that's actually part of the reason I recapped it, because there's somebody that I've come into contact with, you know, we know the individual and stuff, and you know, we know their journey and thing, and one of the things that has actually, you know, hurt my heart for them and stuff is the fact that, you know, we know how much they put into the ministries that they were associated with and stuff, and one of the things that we actually know kind of suffered. I mean, I don't want to say suffered. Suffered could be a strong word, and nobody knows what's fully going on in anybody's house. But one of the things that kind of was to the side was honestly that person's marriage, you know. And as much as we saw both in spouses, you know, serving within the church and stuff like that, you saw that individual at the church at least 5 or 6 days a week, you know. And a reality, you know, and that went on for years, you know. And so when you talk to the person or whatever, and when you really think about it, like how much time did they really spend to grow together, you know? And so now granted, again, we don't know the dynamics of their marriage and stuff like that, but I look on the outward example of that, and I think about, you know, even the marriages of some of the younger couples, you know, whether in our generation or younger or a little older than us. And I really want to make sure that we are looking at even our attention or our commitment to our churches. No, it's not wrong to want to commit to your church. It's not wrong to want to serve and impact lives and help to grow your members in your church. For me, that's a unique calling, and it's a beautiful thing to want to mentor and stuff. But then if your children are suffering and not seeing you because of it, if your wife or your husband suffering and not seeing you because of it, if you're missing birthdays and all of that because of it and whatever, then there's an imbalance, and that's a problem, you know. And just to finish it, and so if there's an imbalance and stuff, like the Lord does say that, you know, we need to balance, and the Lord does say that we need to too much of something is not good. You know, and yes, we use it in many different contexts or whatever, so I'm not gonna even try and stretch it to fit this one context necessarily. But what I will say is that, you know, especially with marriage being our first ministry and stuff, we need to be good stewards of it, right? And being good stewards of the gift of marriage that God has given us or whatever means that we need to pay consistent attention to our marriage and our general household, which flows from our marriage. And with that said, that is when we'll definitely be able to see more of the fruits of what God has given us and stuff, and be able to uncover more purpose based on what God has led us to, or will lead us into, right? So you're not going to be able to truly uncover that purpose if you're not spending time in your marriage.
That's true. But two more things. One, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to stop other ministry or stop being a part of other ministry to work on your marriage. Right? Don't, trust me. If you need to take time to say, hey, yo, me and my wife or me and my husband not in the greatest place. No, because you have to think about, honestly, you have to think about what peace do you want when you come home? What do you want when you come home? Do you want peace? Do you want to know? And I'm not saying that it's like, oh, every day is going to be a joy and love and nice. I'm talking about peace. I'm talking about just to know that there is no
everything actually
under-earthing or some
resentments
and stuff that are happening, that when you pull up to your parking lot, you're just like, you have to literally breathe for like 5 minutes just before you walk in, because you already, in your head, you already know there's something wrong. So I'm just entering into a toxic space.
Right.
Yeah, it don't make sense. If you need to stop ministry after a while, if you need to pause, talk to the organization, let them know, talk to whoever needs to be talking. If you don't have to tell everybody, but you need to talk to who you need to talk to and say, hey, I'm taking some time because honestly I need to work on my marriage. Honestly, we maybe need to go do some counseling. We maybe need to go take some time with each other, because we're at a place now where it's just not happening, it's not working, and it needs to be happening and working, not just for the marriage, but for yourself, for you, because you can a lot of times we can miss so much about what's happening with us, especially in the marriage, because we're doing everything else and substituting what's going on with everything else. That we don't realize that, yo, this is having a big effect on me. This is having a big effect on my health and how my mental health and my health, like even my just physically. It's having a lot on it. So definitely don't be afraid to do that. Also, make sure God is at the center of your marriage. Make sure God is at the center of whatever you're doing. Isn't it? Make sure God is at the center, because at the end of the day, we're all, even the ministries you're a part of, you're doing it to please Him. It's all to please Him. And the marriage, it's also to please Him. And so you definitely have to be in tune with God to know when to be like, all right, let me hold up here. Oh no, something happened today, but my wife has something important. I need to be able to shift this and say, hey, somebody, can you take over, because I need to do this with her, or I need to do this with him. Be able to discern certain things, and be in tune with God.
Right, and fully agreed in terms of those points and stuff. And I kind of want to piggyback on the point that you made just before this one, in terms of being willing to take the time to work on your marriage and stuff. Now, on the flip side, there are churches sometimes who make it difficult for a person to take that step back, and it's at those times that I'll say straight up, then you need to evaluate the type of community you've surrounded your marriage with. Because if it is that you can't be open enough to be able to say, hey, I need some time with, my husband or my wife or whatever, and we need to just work some things out, because they are so used to or addicted to you, doing this and that and whatever in the church and whatever, then at this point it will sound bad. It low-key won't sound like they're using you just for what you can give to the church, and it sounds bad,
Or there's no structure.
Yeah, there's no structure to allow for other people to be able to stand in the gap and things like that. And so so it's twofold, of course. but then it also still comes back down to you as the individual in the marriage, and also you as the couple to be able to take responsibility for what is going on with you, so that you can definitely move forward in a purposeful way. So with that said, guys, I mean, it's a full discussion, and I mean, of course, there are many other variables that can be incorporated in this discussion. But I'll definitely say, and we will definitely say, you know, guys, just keep on pushing forward, work on balancing your marriage with your ministry, remembering that your marriage is your first ministry and that God must be pleased in all things, right?
That's right. Right there.
Yeah, with that said, if you guys have any other comments, feel free to drop it below. And remember to like, share, and subscribe, because we really want to expand this community so that we all move forward in Purpose Audacity. Take care, guys.
Thanks for watching the episode of Purpose Audacity, guys.
We really appreciate your support, and we want to encourage you to keep watching.
Alright, so remember to like, share, and subscribe, and make sure you comment down below, alright?
Yeah, we really appreciate it. It helps us to build this community, expand this community, and above all of that, make an impact for the kingdom.
That's right.